Okay, hi guys. Okay, once again, welcome back to the session 8, the last session of Java Object-Oriented Programming Language. And the last topic here we are going to discuss about is like Java input-output I/O. Okay, so before going to the I/O, like let's just critically think about a situation like what is a string, and this is a very important like a keyword that you need to understand before going to the input and output operation in Java. Okay, so what is a string? Yeah, all the input and output operations in Java depends on the abstraction of stream. Okay, and stream is something that is a flow of data, and this flow of data that can come from any source. The source can be like a file from the disk or any file from the disk, okay, of any extension, and standard input and output or network connection or whatever hardware devices. Okay, and this input and output operations works in the same way for all kind of string. So all kind of file string, whatever it comes from, like the same way. Okay, it use the same mechanism to perform the operation, the input and output operation in Java input and output library. Okay, and this library class is in package Java input and output, Java.io, and whenever the error occurs, like previously we start discussing about exceptions, right? So like while handling some kind of error that might occur, we handle this kind of errors by throwing the exceptions, and these exceptions are the subclasses of IO exceptions, right? Now jumping to the next session, like next question, like we can say that how do we read the character, the input string? The simple method, the method that is called read method. Okay, and it reads the single character and returns -1 if end of string occurs. So whereas to read a line, we can also read a line by using the same method which is used to read a single character. You can start looping through the method and you can read a multiple lines. Okay, you can read a line. Overall, you can read a line by using a simple trick, that is a trick of using a looping, like the length of a line, like how many times. Okay, like if it is 100 times, then start looping 100 times and start reading a character 100 times slow. So this is the way, simple procedure. And similarly, we can also write the character, that's the output string. Yeah, this is the output string that you use to write the character, and to write the character you have to use the write method, right? Okay, writing the character is performed in the output string. Okay, so now like how do we use the buffer reader? What is like this buffer reader class? Okay, to read a file from the string. So how do you perform this kind of buffer reader to read the file from the string? The string is something that is a flow of data. Right? So you can use the buffer reader class. The buffer reader class, as I have like we can use this class. Okay, but how we can use this class is this class provides some kind of method which is very efficient for reading of character, arrays and lines. Okay, and the best part is like it uses a default size input buffer. Okay, so it doesn't have some kind of restriction about the memory. So default size input buffer is so much enough to start buffering the character input stream and start reading, okay, the file from the stream. And secondly, like we can check out the example here. Okay, here in the example, first we create a buffer reader It's an example about how do we read a file from the input stream. You first create a buffer reader object that is initialized to null, then you start trying and you start catch if the exception occurs. So first you create a file. Okay, file we'll discuss a little later. Yeah. And a new buffer reader object is created. Okay, the reader is initialized to a new buffer reader object, which consists of a new file reader class that inputs. Okay, and this file reader class is the class that is used to read character files, and this file is a file name that is generated by this file class that we'll discuss later. Okay, just one step later. And then after you create a string, while you loop through you set a loop with a condition check that if the string is equal to the read line, and if this read line is not equal to null, then you start printing out the line. And if any of this kind of methods like file reader or file class or something like a read line method, then then if the exception occurs, then this is caught in this catch block. And finally we just close the reader, and if any exception occurs, we also catch the exception in this block, in the final block. Finally, okay, and here giving you the more information, read line is also a method that reads a single line of text excluding the termination character, okay, or null if the end of the string has been reached. Okay, so what Java file class consists of then? File class, look, okay, I told you, like I was going to discuss here, right? Like file class reader, the file is here. So what this file does is, this class represents the files and the directory path names, okay, in the abstract manner. So the path name is represented, like the input, the new file object is created, and when this new file object is created, so you also start inputting the name of this file, okay, file name, okay, with any kind of extension. So you can keep any kind of file name here. Okay, so this file class is mostly used for creation of files and directories, file searching, file deletion. Okay, whenever you use files, you first create from this file class. Okay, while this file acts as a stream. Okay, from where you start, where the data is read. Okay, is the source of the input stream. Now, okay, going to the next step, what is the string tokenizer then? A string tokenizer is something, a class, okay, which provides the first step in this parsing process. And what is the parsing process then? So give the input string, we can enumerate the individual tokens contained in it. So enumeration means you can change the format. Okay, so change the format and changing in such a way that you can represent in any form, like whichever form you want to represent it. So this works on a stream of data. First thing is, this works on a stream of data. So to use this class, we have to specify our input string. Okay, first thing we have to do is we specify the input string, and second thing is the string that you have to specify also the string that contains the delimiter. Okay, delimiters. So these delimiters are characters that separate the token. The token means something like the string, the previous string that we have to specify. Okay, so this set of delimiters can be anything. Like it can be a blank, it can be something like a semicolon, or it can be something like a stab or new line, or something like /r, /f, something like this. Okay, so blank is a default delimiter for your information. Now, just a brief example of the simple example how to show you to use the string tokenizer is that we have to first make sure that we import the string tokenizer class. Then we first specify the input string, and this input string consists of something like this. It's written here: title Jumping Fox, author is Niranjan K, publisher is Niranjan, and khatri.blogspot.it. Okay, so funny at 2004. So this is a input string, right? And the second thing that you have to define is, and this is a main function. What it calls is like not main, it's a main method. A function is something that you use in a C programming. Okay, sorry for that. Now it's in the main method. What you do is you create a string tokenizer object. Okay, and this string tokenizer object consists of something like an input string and the token, like the delimiter what you have used. So the delimiter is equals to and a semicolon. Okay, while the string token object has more tokens, so this has more tokens is used to iterate. Okay, this method is used for iterating in case of string tokenizer class. Okay, so the string key is equals to string tokens, the object, the string tokenizer object, and the next token. Okay, so and similarly you start printing out with the key and the value. Okay, you start iterating and print out the value. So you can try this yourself, and what you get at the end is like you get an output that is something like this. Okay, just it removes all the delimiter and just print out the text without any delimiters. Now lastly, in the end of the session, the last question is that what is this serialization in Java? It is a mechanism where an object can be represented as a sequence of bytes. Okay, that includes the object's data as well as information about the object's type and the types of data stored in the object. Okay, and for your kind of information, this serialization in Java is some kind of advanced features. Okay, most for the basic Java programmers, it is not necessary to, but for it can be useful in some kind of context. Okay, some kind of higher advanced Java programming language. Okay, now let's try to just get an idea about what is it. Then I already told it's something like a mechanism. Okay, the object can be represented as a sequence of bytes. Okay, the idea is this: the object whichever object that you want. Okay, you in Java you can just represent this as a sequence of bytes. Okay, and this bytes consist of the data as well as the information about the object types. Okay, to perform the serialization, then we need two things, and the first thing is we have to implement the method, the interface serializable. Then the second thing you have to be careful is all the fields in the classes must be serializable. Okay, so if any of the field is not serializable, then it must be marked with a keyword transient. Okay, you can immediately see the example. Okay, in the employee class I have implemented the serializable, and I have serialized all the variables, and whichever field I have implemented the field, like whichever field do not, and this SSN, the serial number, okay, this field do not realize the serializable, so we have to specify this by transient. And then okay, now the real implementation of serializable is done here in this serialize demo class. In the main method, what we do is we create a new employee object, then we declare each fields. Okay, and then we try the particular code. Then if any kind of exceptions like input and output exception occurs, then we catch the particular input and output exceptions. And similarly, in the try block, what we do is we create a file output stream object. Then this, and we also create an object output stream object. And the file output stream object is stored in a temporary directory having the name of file name employee with the extensions ser. And the most important thing you have to understand is this file, the serializable file, is stored always in a extension, in a file with the extension ser, serializable, that signifies serializable. Okay, now similarly we write output object. Okay, and we close the object output stream, and we also close the particular file output stream. And at the end, like the serializable data is saved in this particular file. Okay, and we can check out, if we go and see the file, we can check out that this particular class, all the fields of the class are saved in this serializable file, right? Okay, this was the last session number 8. Okay, so this is the last session of whatever I have given till now. Okay, like whatever topics I have explained. Okay, whichever topic I promised to explain all about while I did the introduction session. Like I promised to give explain much about Java environment, Java basic concepts, Java inheritance, Java collection framework, right? Java generics, so Java exceptions, and Java input output. This was the last session. Okay, I just tried to give you some kind of basic key concept. Okay, some particular scheming idea in the sense like something that you can just go through it. Okay, you don't need to understand, like this some kind of key concept, okay, which can be handy while you are trying to start programming. And I already told you that this kind of topics, graphic user interface and trace, are not covered here. So I just finished all the sessions here, and I hope I answered all the questions that I promised to answer, and I hope that this will help programmers somehow this will help them, okay, just to start programming. Just for beginners, it can help them to start beginning to programming. Okay, so, and thank you for listening, and hope to come up with more sessions just like this. Okay, thank you.